Hey everybody, here at National Headquarters. It's Wednesday. I think if anybody's watched my stuff, they know what we do on Wednesday here. So it's Wednesday afternoon. I've just made a deep clean on the shop, and Connie and I cleaned the upstairs Saturday because we're having everybody over for Thanksgiving tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hopefully y'all have a good time and get your bellies full and all that stuff. That's what we're going to do. Connie ordered a fresh turkey from the meat market across the street, and she sent me to pick it up, which was probably a mistake, because I went over there to the meat market to pick it up, and while I'm waiting for them to bring it out of the back room, I noticed in the cooler they got smoked turkeys too. So I bought one of them. I like smoked turkey. So I'm wondering if 2 turkeys are going to be enough for 8 people. Maybe it might be cutting it close, but I'm hoping it all works out. So then Friday we're going to do, I'm going to use a carcass and make turkey noodle soup and leftovers and stuff like that for everybody. So we get to spend plenty of time with the family. But we've been busy here in the shop, and I'm going to call this video 10 pounds. Because this is 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound sack, I'm telling you. And then the moose that drives it's got to get in this hole too. So, yeah, man, I'm telling you what. This has been a blast. Jeff and I have enjoyed this extremely, but I'm telling you, it's a challenge. When you guys want to build a little car, you got to remember all these same parts got to go in that little car, and it just makes everything tighter. So there's a whole lot more thought. I've shown you a little bit on the front end, how tight everything was up there. Well, we got the motor in the car now, and the motor in the trans, and the seats in there, and all the junk in the back. The rear end's in it. It's close. We didn't get quite as far as I wanted to get today, but man, I'm telling you, we knocked a big hole in it. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that. Ramsey's truck's still sitting here. I asked him to bring the bed next week, towards the end of the week, and I'll finish that truck up. But I did not want to do any cutting or grinding around this Willys. The paint job on it and everything's way too nice, and we don't need the dust on this car, so we're trying to keep the dust in here at a minimum. So let me show you what's going on. Told you, that's big, and that's big. That's all I can say. Jeff made the coil bracket, and the coil and the throttle return spring bracket today. We got that done. Throttle linkage. Like I say, motors in the hole. Headers, I got to do them. I'll show you down here. I made that secondary bar there to stiffen the frame, but I'll get the header ports over the top of that because this is getting like a collector Zoomy on it. So, but we're working on fuel log. We put it's a return style regulator, and we mounted the regulator down there in the frame rail because we were running out of places to put things. So we put it down there. It's got a Mezier water log on it because, as you well know, the radiator's in the trunk. But now we've got to figure out vacuum pump and alternator. Yeah, fun times. Fun times, Bill. So anyways, look in here. You can see what we got going on, and it's closer, but we got the parachute, the shutoff's done, the steering column's finished, the pedals work, the brakes are bled. I got the fire bottle in it back here. The top of the bottle was missing, and Bill said it was on there. He's got a picture of it, but I took it out of the box, and the top wasn't on the bottle, so we got to figure that one out. I got to put padding inside of it yet for the roll cage. Got the window net in it. It's laying down there. I'll walk around this side so you can see the ignition panel. It ain't nothing spectacular, but you can see some more in here. Like the ignition panel. We got the K&R, the circuit board on there. The MSD's back behind the fire bottle, and then there's a 2-step there. So then up here we've got our K&R switch panel. You can see that, and then those are the switches for the power windows. Yeah, power windows. Then the gauge is, I'm hoping he can look at all these because I have a hard time looking at one. So But it's turning out pretty cool. You know, we're super careful trying not to scratch this bad boy. So I've left the plastic covering the windows to try to keep some of the dirt off of them. It's off on the inside, but it's still, you know, you can see here, like I talked about that detail on the windows, you can see how that works out. It covers up the purple paint underneath. And when dirt gets in there, you can't see it. Up on the front, I want to show you this. I painted, he said he wanted a silver, or like a piece of silver trim, so I put like a 1/2-inch silver border around that window, and that turned out pretty cool. So, and I do these, that's an 832 stainless button head screw right there. I use those. I used to use countersunk screws, but man, it's a pain in the butt to countersink them. You got to get all that done, and then it thins the window way out, and then the window wants to break. So I switched to button heads because this ain't no Pro Stocker, you know, and they work great. So I typically do all my spacing, I think I've said before, about 3 inches apart. Do the same with my rivets. There's a fire nozzle right there on the back of the engine. There's one on the back of the engine, and then there's one like at the driver's feet. In case fire comes in, it's spraying and where it's going to come in towards your feet. So you see the rear end's in it. We got all that done. Pinion angle's not set yet, but it's in there in a square. So then in the trunk, more of that 10-pound stuff. Pretty good sized trunk. We got the fuel pump over there, the expansion tank for the radiator, the battery. This is another shutoff Bill wanted in there, electrical disconnect, and there's an electrical disconnect down there. Of course, the fan, the tail lights are down in there, and a plug for the charging lugs. Then these are lights for the fuel cell. And then that little toggle switch over there is what operates those lights. So at night, if you're putting fuel in it, at least you can see the level. So we've got the parachute on it. Let's show you this. You've seen the holes in the back for the radiator for ventilation. I thought about painting the radiator black. I may still do that so that it doesn't show, but parachute's on it. Started putting the harnesses in it. But they forgot to send me the eye bolts. They'll be here Monday so I can finish putting the harness in the car. But she's turning out pretty good. We still got a pile of parts. I got some tin work to put in it, the shifter, odds and ends, but we had 2 tables full, and we're down here to like a half a table full now, so she's turning out pretty good. I bought some black carbon wrap. I use this stuff here on the door diagonals, so when you're getting out, your feet are scuffing that bar, you're not knocking the powder coat off. This stuff's easy to replace. They make those carbon covers that go on. Those things are like 50 bucks a piece. I think this stuff was $8. You know, you just lay it out with a straight edge, you cut it, stick it on, it works great. So we got one bunch of line here. I got to order some more line. This is number 10 line, but I got a list of fittings I got to order. Tack's got to go in, like I say, the vacuum pump. I don't think we have a pulley for an alternator, so we'll have to figure that one out. But then I got to build the headers. I got that box of header tubes there from stainless headers. Let me tell you, when I told you before to build a car around a set of headers, I wasn't kidding. That box there, stainless J-bends and the flanges, is $1,400. So by the time I get done, he's probably going to have $2,400-$2,500 bucks in a set of headers. They will last as long as the car lasts because they're stainless, and they'll be nice. But like I say, if you're building a car on a budget, try to build the car around a set of headers. So like I say, it's turning out good. The chrome makes it stand out. I love that part of it. You know, I've been like on my stuff, I use that real chrome stuff, and it's good. But man, this pops. It pops. It's like I say, it's getting close. Somebody's dingling my phone. Anywho, Like I say, I made a path back here to the bathroom. Since we did that, I'm going to come back here and show you what's happening with the yellow truck. I'm really happy with this. I got it painted. I think I showed everybody that. Maybe not. It doesn't match perfect. Really don't care. I just didn't want it two-tone on the outside. I wanted it yellowish, you know. Maybe someday I'll tear this apart and paint it. Maybe I won't. The key for me was just to have a car that, or a truck that I could drive with a nice interior. You see the dash turned out great. I mean, I hope that shows. But man, it is, there's no dust in it. Not bad for some old redneck. Then the floors, that's a satin black. I did the rear firewall in the satin black. I'm gonna end up putting like a Dynamat. I bought this stuff out here. I got it off the jungle. And it's another sound, it's butyl rubber soundproofing, and it is like a tenth of the cost of Dynamat. And I love Dynamat, don't get me wrong, but you know, I'm a guy on a budget. Some dummy built too many cars for himself, so this is like number 2. But yeah, she's coming along good. I'm to the point now where I can start assembling it. This dries up, then I can like put the master cylinder on, the steering column back in, and start getting the big parts and pieces bolted on it. I ordered a dash from a company called Dolphin Gauges. Their dash was like $350 with a GPS speedo, 4 gauges in a speedo, and it comes with the fuel level center and everything else. Then the previous builder never put a fuel level center in the tank, so you know, gas, oil pressure, temperature, that stuff matters to me. So it already had electric wipers, and I think I told you I bought it's back there in the back, I bought a vintage air heater that I'm going to put in it. Got the motor tore apart and cleaned up. Manifolds are laying down there. Battery box is a mess, but I got to fix that. And then when they took the truck apart before for the new gas tank, they chopped up the running board mount and the fuel tank mount for some reason. So I got to weld all that back together. I mean, they just tacked it. So I sandblasted them up a little bit, and I'll weld them and get some paint on them. I'm painting the parts and pieces that I pulled off. You can see in there, I just painted the frame. I didn't worry about the suspension or nothing, because I may put independent front suspension in it at some point and change the rear end and get her a little lower, but I just painted the frame. I wanted it clean. To say the motor's out here under the plastic. I'm going to put a rear main seal in it, clean it up real good. I've used zip strip to clean the block off. I've got all the other parts and pieces downstairs to wash them up in the parts washer. Then I've, of course, the oil pump, the rear main cap, and that stuff's there. My thoughts are this weekend is to get the motor put back together so we can get it in the truck. So the cross member was welded in, well, sort of kind of welded in. It was chicken shitted in, but I'll fix that, make it bolt in. So, but that's what we got going on here in the national headquarters. Like I say, hopefully the following week we can get the Dodge out of here. I got to do a truck for Dave Crabtree, and Greg Minnick's Henry J is coming back to assemble, finish assembling. You saw part of that, but we got to finish terminating the wiring and get some gas in it and get it started up for him. So that's what we got going on. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you soon.